games, but what is the key to Mahomes' early remarkable success?
Wait a second, Coach. Is Brett Favre breaking down all the quarterbacks or something, or is he trying to take care of Andy Reid, a guy that he knows and everything?
I'm sure Brett has his film set up. And
Come on, Coach. He's studying in the
hours.
basement down in Mississippi?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
okay.
not. With Patrick, I think one of the best things that he had going for him last year was Alex Smith. And Alex Smith, to me, is a great guy. He's a guy who had to learn the hard way in San Francisco. He's really developed a career for himself by the way that he studies, the way that he approaches things, the way that he's a pro. And to have that mentor last year was huge for him, was huge. And then you go into this season, he's got a ton of talent around him. You've got the start of the season where Kansas City historically starts fast. So all those things have come into play. We need to slow down on how good this guy is going to be, because every year it's the same thing. It's Jimmy G, he's going to the Hall of Fame. It's Carson Wentz, he's going to the Hall of Fame. It's Deshaun Watson, he's going to. Jameis Winston, his first year goes to the.
Get packed.
It's packed. It's packed with all these young quarterbacks. But we're 2 games into it, and people haven't had a chance to really study who he is, what he does well, what he does poorly, what he struggles with, what pressures affect him. All those things are going to catch up to him, and then he's got to be able to show that he's got a second pitch when the defensive coordinators catch up to what his skill set is.
All right, so there's a lot of things that have played into how good he's been. I think Coach touched on one of it. I think sitting last year was great for him. I think
sitting with Alex.
Absolutely, that's the point you made. Sitting behind Alex, with Andy Reid there, with Matt Nagy there, who's now the head coach in Chicago. Like, all those things, I think, helped him out. I think Andy Reid, and he's always been a guy that has excellent offensive schemes. Having him as the head coach has been a huge advantage. The talent around him. Cris, you told Dante Culpepper when he took over for Randall and the Vikings, you're never going to have this much talent around you again.
No.
I hope you take advantage of it. I hope you appreciate it. Like, that is the level of...
Yeah, he ended up having 3 Hall of Famers. Left guard, Randall McDaniel, Randy Moss, and myself. Forget about Robert Smith and the other 2 Pro Bowl offensive linemen that we had.
Right.
That's a pretty good crew.
And if it's what you come into, you don't know that this is abnormal for the NFL. Like, it's the NFL, everyone must have this level of talent. So Pat Mahomes has super high-level talent. But the other part of that equation, the fourth part, is he has elite arm talent. That not for a rookie or a second-year player. He has the ability for him, the types of throws he's making. And the reason I think that his success is less fluky than some of the other success we've seen is if you watch the diversity of throws he's making to 7 guys on the team, I believe, have touchdown receptions all over the field. Like, defenses might figure a lot of things out, but some of these throws, there's no defense for. There's no defense for a perfectly placed, perfectly timed, high-velocity throw. And that's what a lot of these are. See, we looked at the highlights from week 2, and you broke down the throw to Kelsey did this, the throw up the sideline did that, throw to the running back did this. Like, of course he's not going to go 80 touchdowns, 0 picks. That's what he's on pace for. He's not going to do that. But it doesn't feel like this is a guy we're going to be like, remember those 2 weeks from journeyman quarterback Patrick Mahomes when he lit the world on fire? I don't think it's that either.
No, but he does have good arm talent. If you look at, there's not 10 quarterbacks in the NFL that can throw the ball. If we were doing a horse competition, all right, he would be one of those throwers in there. A lot of times, does that equate to being the type of quarterback that's your franchise quarterback? What we've seen in the league is sometimes they don't go together. Now, he's got some good things working for him. He wasn't pressed into duty last season. You talk about the coordinator he was with last year. You talk about the head coach who he's with. You talk about all the talent. And I did think the number of throws that he's made has been very, very impressive. I think the most significant thing that happened for him, though, was the Alex Smith thing. And Andy Reid, in his press conference, he went into that. They asked him, well, what makes this young kid be able to play so well? And it's like, his sitting behind Alex Smith. And they said, well, Alex Smith, no. Alex opened up everything to him. Alex did not guard himself the way normal pros are. Like, I can have an association with you, a lot like Ben Roethlisberger told my man Mason Rudolph coming from Oklahoma State. That's the way NFL typically hierarchy goes. No one is going to give you the kind of secret to the secret sauce. When I got Randy Moss, I gave him everything. I'm a wide receiver. We were a 3-receiver offense, and I knew Moss couldn't replace me. I knew Moss couldn't do the things. So there was really no threat. So for me, I opened up everything to him, how to take care of your body, where he should live, all the things that would help him grow. He had that with Alex Smith, and I think that's probably the biggest component to his overall success is Alex opening up everything to him, that he's learned a lot of NFL lessons that other guys had to get into the game to be able to learn. And Andy Reid opened that up, and he told us that in the press conference, that if Mahomes hadn't sat behind Alex, and Alex was not a selfish guy. But also, that's what led Andy Reid to trade him to a friendly place so that Alex could get a good contract. He saw what Alex meant to that franchise and what he meant to this young player's growth. And he said, you know something? I'm going to do you a solid. You did me a solid.
Alex got $90 million. It worked out great for everybody. It worked out perfectly for everyone involved.
So like I always try to tell you guys, it's always the right time to do the right thing. Alex Smith, he helped lead to the great legacy we have in NFL players teaching the game, because Alex Smith knows the game better than Andy Reid. Why? Because Andy's never played. Nagy's never played. So the communication to that player through that coach, we as players can tell those other players things that the coach can never, ever read. It's not out of disrespect. When you're trying to coach at the highest level, it's the blend of the highest information with people who have played, assimilating that information, and we see it played out, Coach, in Pat Mahomes.
It's huge to have a mentor that's willing to share their successes, their failures, their process, and someone like Alex Smith who struggled and who had to learn all those different things along the line. It's huge, because as a coach, you can only give them so much, and then the players help fill in those voids. The thing I'm struggling with this is the elite arm talent, the once-in-a-generational player, all these accolades that we give to guys after 1 or 2 games. And
more so now in this generation. We do it more so now than ever before.
And look, Tom Brady, he did not light it up when he first started. We scored 3 offensive touchdowns.
There was a couple Super Bowls, Coach, and we were still calling Tom Brady a game manager.
Yeah.
New England's going to win despite Tom Brady.
Hold on. Of course. Well, go ahead.
But I'm just saying, we want to anoint everybody as he's this, he's that. It's 2 games. Last year, Kansas City started out 5-0. They were definitely going to the Super Bowl. And what happened? Things changed dramatically. Let's see whether he can have sustained success. But is it a nice start? Is it a nice story? It's great. It's exciting.
Coach, but sometimes you feel to me like a guy that if a spaceship landed on 6th Avenue, you'd say, let's see if it happens tomorrow before I get excited about it. This isn't a typical start. I'm not saying he's a once-in-a-generation player, but how long have you been playing NFL football, see?
99 seasons.
How many players have had more touchdown passes first 2 games of the year? Not young players, not rookies, not second-year players.
No,
total
but I've
players.
seen Scott Mitchell.
None. Yeah,
and I've seen some other guys, too, now.
Of course.
So Coach is right now.
And there's people that
we have 99 years of history, so you using that.
No,
but we also have 99 years of history.
And there is the Tom Brady example. But there's also the Aaron Rodgers example of this. See, your first practice, or not your practice, his first practice after taking over for Brett Favre, you're on the field with Greg Jennings, some other people. And what's your story from there? This guy's got a special arm.
No, that's me, though.
Right.
That's me, and based on all the arms that I'd ever seen.
Of course.
Pat Mahomes don't have that kind of arm.
I'm not saying he has that type of arm. The point I'm making is some guys are Brady, a rose that takes a while to fully bloom. Some guys, the people know when they know. And I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying he's a once-in-a-generation talent. What I am saying is all we can deal with is the data that we have. And the data that we have right now says he is far more likely to be a franchise high-level quarterback. That's
not the data for 99 years, though. What Coach is saying, we've been watching this for so long. You're just talking about recent data. But the history of the league shows, yeah, we've had guys have great starts, either at the beginning of their career or even in the middle part of their career. But we have also seen more of those spaceships turn out to be, that was inflatable. That was a blow-up.
Yeah, and some people think the Earth is flat, and some people think the moon landing was fake. Like, I want to see the data over time and be able to make an evaluation after people have been able to catch up with them, as opposed to 2 games and look, he's the best quarterback ever.
Coach and I come from the same theory. We'd much rather be slow to get to the party and be people say, oh, well, I knew about this guy. So what? We much rather be slow and be right than be out before the story and try to put this out there on all players. Because we said the same thing about Deshaun Watson. I know coaches like, hey, listen, watch out now. This could go the other way.
But Jimmy Garoppolo, the only thing he had going for him was the win-loss record. The numbers weren't this. The visuals weren't this. Deshaun Watson, everyone knew, just like everyone knows, that Patrick Mahomes isn't going to go 80 touchdowns, 0 picks. Everyone knew Deshaun Watson wasn't going to continue the all-time record quarterback rating, touchdown-interception ratio, touchdowns per game. We knew those things. But you also early on can say, what do I think this player is going to be? Do I think this player is going to be a star in this league, an average player?
Did we not think Cam Newton would be a better football player today?
Yeah, but I don't think we were wrong about Cam. Cam also won an MVP and got his team to a Super Bowl, even if he has not achieved maximum of his potential.
What I find is a lot of people pick 15 guys they say are going to be great, and when one of them hits, it's like, look, I told you so. But nobody ever goes back to the other 14 that didn't quite get there.
If it was 1 out of 15, I think that'd be more fair. I don't think it's usually 1 out of 15.
Coach doesn't like accolades. Yeah. Thanks for being the greatest coach of all time and the greatest suit of all time, Coach. We love it.
Thanks for being the greatest hostess.
Ever. Coach, stick around. So much more coming up. Do the Steelers